Good afternoon, everyone at Clarendon Fine Art. We are on the live Insta. Good afternoon. I can see you all coming through. How are you all? Good afternoon. You're on the Clarendon Fine Art live Insta feed this afternoon. And I'm very excited. As you know, a lot of you joined us yesterday and are now joining us today. Yesterday we were live with Sherree Valentine-Daines in her garden where she brought the social season to life. Which was super exciting, and I think we're going to see the almost finished demo that she did yesterday of Bunty. Today, this afternoon, we are live in her studio, which actually I'm really excited about because you only get to kind of see them in the gallery. So I think going into her personal space, her personal studio is going to be really exciting. I'm very excited. I know she's, I think we're going to see a few sketches, some studies, some oils. So I'm very excited for that. So Sherree has requested a live video feed, so I'm going to take her call now. Live with Sherree Valentine-Daines, hopefully in the next 2 seconds. I think we are. Sherree Valentine-Daines, welcome to Clarendon Fine Art.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. Yes, thanks for coming to see me.
Oh, that's quite all right. That's absolutely fine. We are absolutely delighted. We loved joining you yesterday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And now we're live in the studio.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn off the commenting because we have a lot of comments. A lot of people from all over the world coming in right now.
Yes.
Pressure. We're live in your studio at home.
Yes. Would you like a tour of the studio?
We would love a tour of the studio if that's all right with you. Would you?
It is a bedroom in my house, so it's not the most exciting, but you can have a look. So my daughter's going to take the phone off and flip it so she can go around the studio.
Thank you, Sherree. So we have a little bit of.
Oh, so show the paints. So that's where I keep my paints on the wall. It's quite handy to see.
Amazing. So this is where you work when you're not outside. This is where you're working when you're inside with everything.
Yes. Yeah, this is my messy studio. And this is a table where I paint from. My palettes. They're tear off palettes. They're quite good. At the end of the day, I tear off and start again. I do put a bit too much paint out. I've got a bottle here of it was a bottle that Bollinger very kindly donated, and I painted Mano Tuilagi, the England rugby player, which has been auctioned for the NHS. I've done a couple of bottles that have just been auctioned for the NHS for the frontline workers. And here's an oasis. That's where when I'm painting, I put my brushes in. This is quite an easy way of putting my brushes in and out. So I've had a little wooden box made.
That's a bit like a piece of art in itself. Look at that.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I've got a few brushes on the windowsill, as you can see. So if anyone wants any brushes, maybe we could do some fundraising with brushes. I could sign on the brushes and send them if there's any fundraising that they would like. So there's quite a few. And this is my easel where I paint. And I'm always requesting my friends to give me some brushes. This is a painting I did from Royal Ascot. I love the ladies, the dappled light, the white, the pink, the pretty colours, and to try to capture a moment in time. That's one of my favourite places to paint. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
And then we're going down. I've been working in the garden since lockdown. I'm painting my husband's vegetable patch. So this is unfinished. I like having the watering can, the washing. I'll probably have one of the grandchildren running in the background at some stage. I've just managed to put a start of a deck chair in there. This is one I just did of the wisteria. And the chickens, we've got some baby chicks. A little baby chick managed to appear in the painting.
Oh, that's.
And again, I love the dappled light. And this is another one I did, which is again the vegetable plots, which I absolutely love painting vegetable plots, because when I grew up, my mother grew everything. Everything we ate, all our vegetables were grown by my mother. So she had green fingers, or she has got green fingers, I should say. And I love the chickens, capture that bit of light. I like the idea of having a spade and a bucket, so the sense that someone's just gone off for a cup of tea. Yeah, Flopsy and Mopsy's garden.
Isn't it? I love that. That's really cool.
I've got a few sketches that I go to a live class whenever I can, especially when I go down to St. Ives. This is maybe a lady. That's one.
Some of the
back view of a lady, a model. This is another one.
Wow.
I love all the colours you see. Dash of green, of light. I like working from life. You never know what colours you're going to see. This is a neighbour, Auntie Minnie, we call her. She's so sweet. She sat for that in her garden. Her brother was a market gardener, and they had a lovely garden as well. I recently did a picture of the chickens in our garden. Well, I say chickens, they're bantams, but I love the colours of them. But obviously it's very difficult because they move around so much.
They do.
There's a few pictures. These are sketches I do of the children and grandchildren now. So kind of little sketches on bits of card. This one I think just starting to crawl. I love. This was going to be a cricket painting. I haven't done it yet, but it was signed by the whole of the England cricket team. So this was back in the days of Ian Botham and Mike Gatton and whatever. Yeah, so I've got to do that. That was for the Ashes series. One of the babies in the Silver Cross pram. I love the Silver Cross prams. So that's a sketch. I mean, these are all quite sketchy pictures because, and this one's got all the ingredients I love: the garden, the washing line with the baby in the pram. So quite sentimental about these sorts of things. I recently that last year, went down to the river and people were having a picnic. So again, and there was an art class going on. So it was quite nice. Had to do it quite quickly because people are moving, but it has a sense of
amazing. Just some of these. I hope you can hear me.
Sorry?
I hope you can hear me okay. But
yes, I can hear you.
As you showed me some of these, we had loads of questions yesterday, and one of the questions, just looking at that, was talking about sort of impressionism, and you're just saying like you're capturing a sort of an impression of what you're seeing in front of you, because that whole period for you has been incredibly inspirational for your work, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yes. What I loved is the fact they actually went outside and painted. They started a new era of painting where people went outside instead of being stuck in the studio, and that's what I really, really love. And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, when I was painting this week, again the painting fell on me, and I've got a permanent dent on my nose where over the years painting has fallen on my face or head. But I just finished the tour off quickly then. I've got a few more sketches down here. I think you might. Yeah, so I'll show you as I go, but I'll just finish the tour. So this is some more paintings down here, some ballerinas that I do. That's one I quite like. There's all sorts of things. Oh, this is a mummy and baby I did. This is a friend of mine sitting on the beach in Cornwall. I thought he makes quite a character.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So I'll show you a few more in a minute. I'll let you ask me some questions again. Sorry.
No, you can. You absolutely can. Well, it's quite nice,
Oh, yeah.
actually. The questions that are being asked.
Oh, yeah.
No, the questions that are being asked are very much, and there's some of your famous jockeys from Ascot.
Yeah, Ascot and the Derby and Sandown and many different race courses I like to visit as well. Oh, this is an unfinished painting that I started down at Teignmouth. They've got a sort of a lovely old-fashioned Victorian landing stage, which is quite lovely, and getting the children there in the evening light. That's got to be finished.
Beautiful. There's always so much light in your work, isn't there?
Thank you. Yes, it's always about the light. Yeah. So, yeah. Hi. So going back, I know you want to ask the questions.
No, I'm loving it. And, well, I know that you've been working over the last few months. You've been working really hard, obviously, on a real, lovely series of work. And I know you paint in oils, don't you? So predominantly, so they take a long time to dry. But I do believe you're going to give us a sneaky peek now into some of the work that you're working on. And I know you're starting with the Ascot piece. Are we able to?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I'll just get another one. Another Ascot painting. Yeah. So you've seen this one. Yeah. And I'll take it off the easel. As you've seen that one. I'm just going to get another one for you. It's a bit heavy.
Yes, it's a bit heavy, but they look beautiful.
Yeah. So that was more ladies. Yes, at Ascot. So often people recognise themselves when I'm painting them, which is quite funny. A year later, they go, "Oh, I've just seen a painting of me." So yeah, it's quite but very nice when they actually end up with the painting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's at Ascot.
Yes, that's at Ascot again. Have you got another? I'll just show you another. Yes, I'm just working on some small sketches.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've got another one of a lady. I think this is at Henley actually.
We're going to zoom in that one, and we're going in. Oh, gosh! Look at the palette on that. That's beautiful. I think this is Lady in Pink. I love that. And do you often, because obviously you work like you said on plein air, don't you? Just like Impressionists.
Yeah. Sorry.
You work on plein air, don't you? I mean, you work literally with your subject there.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, I do. Whenever I can. Obviously, when I'm on location, obviously you can't guarantee anyone's going to pose for you at all, and I wouldn't like to ask them to. So I try and capture a moment when they might be having a drink with their partner, or sitting in the cafe, and I can do a quick sketch. And I'm always, and I have, since I've had a family, I haven't had quite so much time to go outside. So I often now take my camera, which is a shame because I do prefer to work from live, but it does help me. So a lot of people will go, "Oh, there's that lady again at Ascot or Henley, taking photographs." Yeah, and then I convert it into paintings. I forget what you asked me now.
Yeah, no, on plein air, I think it's just that you sort of outside. You work with your subjects there, which I think is really lovely because and you really capture, like we were saying, the social season. You do beautifully well with the children series, don't you? Which you're very famous for.
But it's funny you said about capturing people the social season. I was once painted a lovely pub scene, and there were people outside, and the man came over to me during the painting. He said, "Can you make sure that the lady that you're painting with me doesn't look like you take her out because that's not my wife."
Oh no. Oh, no.
Yeah, so I have to be careful how realistic it is at times. But I'm thinking, well, you must think I'm very good then.
Yeah, you just tilt the hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your children's scenes. One of the questions that we had yesterday. I know you've been working on some over the last few months. One of the questions we had is, you obviously paint on location. Your favourite location.
Yeah.
Are they you've been on holiday with, or you've been with the children that you've been in love with?
Sorry, the children.
Well, where you kind of find your location. Is it normally where you've been on holiday with the children, or have you got special locations where you choose to paint?
Yes, I mean, Cornwall I absolutely love. painting, or might just get a beach scene. Oh yeah, Cornwall is one that, you know, when we were first married, well, we didn't really go on holiday. In fact, when I was growing up, I only had one holiday, and that was in a caravan down in Kent, I think. But I've always been loved going to the beach, because it was such a special treat, going down to Climping with my siblings and my parents, and I just loved. So it's just such happy memories, and I think for most of us, really all of us, our happiest memories are going on the beach, playing with a bucket of sand. I mean, what nicer day out. And so the minute I started going down to the beach with the children, it was a bit like a busman's holiday. I've always taken my paints, and they've done that ever since I've had children, and now I've got grandchildren, or I pinch up, you know, other people's children with their permission, obviously. And yeah, so lots of people ask me to paint their children on the beach, so that's lovely. It's just such happy days, and I love painting only happy things.
Yeah, and they do, and that's exactly what the social season does, and the children's paintings, isn't it?
Here's a painting of my son when he had his first art lesson.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie, yeah. So that's Charlie. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So that's one. That's just so. You know, I've painted children sitting in the sink, having a bath, and just playing in the garden at anything. And I always remember when I first went to an art class, people were painting like the Rocky Mountains or snow scenes in the Alps, and at that time I hadn't been to any of those places. It probably still happened, and I couldn't understand why you'd paint something you'd never been to or seen, because I would only want to paint what was under my nose and what I like. And I love painting gardens, love painting people, love painting everyday life, even if it's a still life, if it's raining. So I could never see the point of going painting something that I didn't have any empathy or relationship with. So for me, painting children and people is the thing that I have a relationship with. I've just got another beach scene. This is down in Cornwall. This was I was staying in Poles F last year, and my granddaughter's friend Florence, and we were on the beach in Rock. There's a lovely estuary there, and when the tide goes out, massive sand. So that was lovely to paint. And I love at the moment we have lots of buttercups, the buttercup fields, and this is one I just did recently of buttercups, which I love.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Whenever sorry.
Carry on, Sherree, and I'll fire away after.
Well, I used to go out painting every day, and eventually that someone would walk into the scene. It might be a street scene, a country lane, or a field, and I never felt the picture was completed till I had a human in it. But it's always a challenge, because painting landscapes is so much easier. It's very easy to make a tree look like a tree, but to paint someone to look like them is much more challenging. So I do, you know, give myself a hard time often. It's the hardest thing you can paint. It's a portrait, really. And yet I love painting portraits because I love people. So this is one of my granddaughters sitting on a hill. I thought it was nice with making a daisy chain, and the wind blowing. A day like today.
A day like today, literally. And like you said, you can't paint something and bring it to life unless you're there. And like you say, those beautiful nostalgic scenes. But actually, I think that's how our clients and your collective connect with you, because it's exactly what we see, you know, with your children on the beach and playing. And there's usually sometimes, I think you might have one, like you've got a, you know, like you always have a splash of red somewhere, don't you?
Oh.
In
Yes. Yeah, like, well, this one's got a splash of red.
A splash of red.
That's got a splash of red.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. So this is, you see?
Yeah, this is on the river at Windsor, actually, sort of hiring a boat out, and my husband and a friend, and she was so attractive. He rode off with her, actually, for about an hour.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
I'm only joking. he wishes. Yeah, and talk about red. You can't beat a field of poppies.
Yeah, that's stunner. I do love that. And just speaking of the red poppies and that painting and the buttercup one, do you find that obviously the Impressionist era and movement is obviously, I would imagine, a big inspiration to you, which you said. Are there particular Impressionist artists that have influenced your work, like Monet, for example?
Yeah, well, obviously, yes, with the poppy fields, yes, yeah, all the big names, and I also as an English early English impression, or not early impressionist painter, but there was a artist called Walter Sickert, and I loved his way of painting. He simplified, very similar, simple palette, and he inspired me. And I think this portrait I did when I went into the nursing home to paint some elderly people, because there were free models, and you know, going into the nursing home was lovely, because I'd ask some of the elderly people if they'd like to pose for me, and they'd love it. They'd brighten their day up, actually, just to, you know, and then actually one day I was in a queue for a jumble sale. I turned around, there was an amazing man standing next to me. I just liked the look of him, and I ended up painting his portrait, and he was one of the very few survivors on HMS Hood, which is a very famous ship that sank in the Second World War. And I just loved his face. And so I learned a huge story and about the sinking of this famous ship. But you never know till you scratch the surface of someone. But for me, painting a portrait of people, it's I just love it. Yeah, I love painting people. I love people.
Yeah, you love people. Well, it really shows in your work, and I think, oh look, is that one of your grandchildren or children?
That's one of my children. It's a pastel. I thought I'd show you something different, because you only think I work in oils, which, yeah, that was an early pastel.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. But there's always a story. I find there's often a story. There's not so much a story to tell if you work in your studio from photographs and everything, but there's always a story to tell when you go out. I mean, one day I was out painting a bakery, and the man whose drive I was sitting in painting from came out to feed me for lunch. He kept bringing me food out, and stood while I ate it. And then the bakery started feeding me as well, and they stood there and chatted to me. So I had to eat. So I had all these meals being given to me, and I went home really, really full up. But you never know what adventure you're going to have when you go out, and the people you meet. It's lovely. This is one of my dad sitting on the beach with a red handkerchief on his head. So I thought it was quite funny. I love sort of the characters of people, seeing them in life, just sitting there having a cup of tea. My dad always likes a flask and a sandwich, you know. He still does. He's nearly 96.
Yeah,
he's an old war veteran.
Absolutely.
He was in the Fleet Air Arm, and he's a real character. Tail end Charlie on a plane. This is my daughter in the cot when she was a baby.
Peaceful.
Yes.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Out of interest, one of the questions that we had on the live feed yesterday, we were asking about when you what makes a good painting. So, and how do you know, right, that's it, that's what I want to paint? How do you know that?
It's so spontaneous. Well, when I first I was taken by some friends to Henley when I was at art school. I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought all this colour, all this joy, all this sunshine, and men in blazers and pink socks and trousers that were too short, you know, and hat and caps that were too small. I thought it was hilarious and lovely and beautiful. So I got in touch with the Stewards Enclosure, and they thought it was quite funny that a young girl in my early 20s then wanted to turn up and paint. So they allowed me to go and paint in the Stewards Enclosure, and I just was in heaven. But one day I spilt some very, very bright green paint on a girl's white silk dress. That didn't go down very well. So I have to be quite careful. I have to get insured now for public liability. Yeah. So I knew the minute I saw that, and then obviously I went off to the Royal Ascot racecourse, and I love seeing the men in their top hats, and a lot of them wear these really black jackets and hats, so they really complement the bright colours of the ladies' outfits. So the black and the colours work really, really well. That's why they're my favourite places to paint. And obviously, and the Derby is another one, and Sandown's on my doorstep. So I love life. But the other thing that's very exciting to paint are market scenes. On a wet day, you get the wet pavements and all the fruit, all the colours reflecting. There's so much colour.
And
there's just so much to paint. I want about 10 lives, please.
There are, absolutely. And it's a real people watching time at a live market, isn't it? There's so many characters.
Oh, this was the hat shop I painted, which you don't get many of now. But
that's
anymore. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But again, you can see your inspiration though, can't you? From very early. It's about colour. Yeah. Your colour is massively important to you, isn't it? And light.
Yes, when I'm often painting a portrait and I suddenly see a lump of blue on their nose or a sort of green dash of light under their chin, I put it on before I think, because I thought about it. I'd think, well, you know, there isn't any green light. There isn't a lump of green on their faces. So yeah, I'm just trying to find you another. Have you done all those? Yeah, you haven't done all the beach ones yet. Sorry. Yeah. So you never know what.
No.
Yeah, what you're going to see, but painting from life gives you that. So yeah.
And also, it's your, like we've just said, you know, it's your impression of it. So like you said, there might not have been a bit of green on their nose or a bit of blue,
but it's reflected.
Yeah, that makes your painting. In fact, that's what means for people, instead of just buying a painting, you know, of a beautiful girl in a poppy field, actually it's got a Sherree Valentine-Daines signature. You know, this is your impression of it, isn't it? Which is so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. I don't think too much when I'm painting. You know, people think I might be intellectualizing. You know, let's say, you know, what are you thinking? Are you thinking about how your eyes led in, or juxtaposition of color? And to be honest, I'm thinking about what's in the fridge most of the time.
But that's good, because then you're freely painting from what your inspiration is and where you choose. Good.
But I suppose I try and make it look easy, but obviously I mustn't forget all those years and years and years of labouring in the life class, annoying my family because making them sit still, annoying the children that they'd run away from me every time I got my pencil out. And so, I mean, years and years and years of studying. And what I realised, people often say you're talented, and I would say, no, I'm not. I've just really, really worked hard at it. Yeah. That's all it is. I mean, you're not born playing the piano. You have to learn it. You have to learn your scales, and that's really it. You have to be good at anything. It's just hard work, and how wonderful is hard work. I mean, I love working hard and achieving.
Yeah, and it's a challenge, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
But even in lockdown, Sherree, you are working very hard, and we're really appreciative of that. And inviting you into your studio in your garden. We have obviously lots of questions still. One of the questions we're being asked is the beautiful preliminary sketch or study that you did of Bunty yesterday.
Oh yes, yes. 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 I'll get that. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done as much as you'd like to think.
Well, you've not had that long. I know you've been working in the night.
Yeah.
I know you haven't that long. But
this
would be the study for a bigger painting.
Yeah, but you can see the different colours that sort of get in it. So I just tried to make her look like she's at a social event, just walking along. That's kind of how I would capture it, sort of the movement of her, you know, sort of moving along. Yeah, I'm trying to capture movement.
Yeah,
yeah. And so that was. But you saw me painting yesterday, hopefully, and you saw how quickly I had to get it down. If I could paint that fast, I mean, obviously this is very different, this painting, for example, because I have to then bring in all the detail. The beginning is always very, very quick and looks impressive, and then it's sort of working into the detail later.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, a lot of these paintings stay in your studio many months, presumably, because the oils take time to dry.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is one that's sentimental to me. It was my son fell asleep on the floor in his nappy and socks. He had a high temperature, so we stripped him off down to his nappy and socks. So yeah, but these things stay in my studio because obviously they're sentimental. Yeah. And there's always a story behind everything that I do from life. Yeah, so yeah.
Little Charlie, little
Charlie, yeah, but yeah, he's grown up now as a man.
While we're on the subject, I know that also we about 3 years ago, you worked really closely with the legend that is Dame Vera Lynn.
Oh yes, yes. Where? So where's her? Yeah. Sorry, one sec. I'll just see where her. There. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yes. I mean, how lucky was I to meet this wonderful woman? You know, well, my parents are a great fan because obviously they lived through the war, and my father, when he was serving, saw her or heard her sing in the Kit Kat Club. So you know, very excited, and so and the painting I produced was of her back in her uniform in the war during World War II.
That's right.
And it's in sepia because I thought it was quite nice. It's sort of the period, and so it's lovely. Yeah, and yeah, and
you've done. Yeah, because you've done. Am I right? So you've done a very, very special limited edition of this with a special number, haven't we? We've done.
Yes, we're doing 100. Well, we've produced 103 prints to represent each year of her life, and very kindly, Dame Vera Lynn is signing each one. At 103, she's going to sign each painting, so it's very, very special, a real one-off occasion, and all the proceeds, every single penny, is going to the Dame Vera Lynn charity for disadvantaged children. So she, bless her heart, she's doing this, you know, because obviously we all want to support the NHS, but and you know, as well, and we mustn't forget all the other charities as well. But you know, obviously at this time,
no, you are
all
really
these
right.
charities are amazing. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. And her charity, with the children's charity, is so important to her massively.
yes.
And I know you said it last with the proceeds from the original. So I think this is beautiful. So yeah, every single penny. So if anyone has any questions, but I'm getting a few questions coming up on my email already. So just you know, do contact us because I think it's £595. And Sherree, thank you. Every single penny is going to the Dame Vera Lynn Children's Charity. So we're going to raise a lot of money for them in the next couple of weeks. Sherree, yes, we absolutely
if we
will.
can sell all 103, well, I'm sure we will. Yeah, it would be a great thing to do for her as well. You know,
she's very, very happy. I know that Dame Vera Lynn is with her daughter Virginia this afternoon, and they are watching you live on the big. So we'll give them a little bit of a wave. So yeah, we are. That's so lovely. So yes, we are massively supporting your charity.
I have to say, I took my parents with me to when I delivered the painting for her to see. My parents came with me, and they still talk about it because Dame Vera Lynn actually sat and sang some war songs with my parents, and it was the most special moment in the last many years of our life. You know, my parents' life. You know, they still talk about it now. Yeah,
it's a moment that you just can't capture, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to ask you was, obviously we've had multiple submissions now. You very, very kindly have said that our clients can submit a photograph of themselves in their finery. And let me tell you, they are coming in fast and furious. I think at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was collaborating some of them together. So I just want to let you know, thank you for that. And what we're going to do is on our Instagram live now, for anyone, I know we've had a few questions, for anyone that wants to submit, all the details are on there. So please keep submitting, and Sherree will select her favourite and your painting. We're very excited about that. Very excited. Sherree, thank you. And tell me, what are you up to this afternoon? Have you got
well, actually, I'm going to continue working on a drawing. I've got two lovely son-in-laws, both professional rugby players, and I've managed to get them to take their tops off, and I've been sketching them. So it's very, very, very nice. Yeah. So yeah, I might go back and do some more anatomical drawings, anatomical studies.
Thank you to Tom. and all the family, because obviously they've been very instrumental in this technical.
Yeah.
So
I've got all these free models around me, you know, I've got, so I might as well, you know, use them.
I agree. I agree.
Keep my eye in. Yeah.
So much. It's so amazing, because I know in the gallery people get to see your work, you know, on these beautiful gallery walls, but actually having a private tour of your studio and your garden yesterday is so personal, and this whole lockdown actually has given us an insight into your life and your world behind the scenes, if you like.
Well, it's very nice that if anyone is interested, really, especially in my messy studio, you know, it's a bit of an insight to see, probably a bit how scatty it all is, but if they don't mind. And I think people imagine I've got this lovely big studio, you know, with all the professional windows and everything. And basically, we moved in this house, and I grabbed the first bedroom, the lightest, and started painting. So yeah.
No,
it's not really where you paint. It's just you have to get on with it, really. I mean, I think on my epitaph piece, you got on with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But also, a lot of the time, your studio, in a way, becomes the outside, because you're outside. You know, it's every aspect of it, isn't it? Whether you're at Ascot or Henley or, you know, the Derby, or, you know, you're in here, and then
or cricket or rugby. I mean, cricket. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of cricket paintings, painting the Ashes, every ground, Lords, the Oval. I mean, I had such fun painting. And getting to know different characters. But I used to love the idea of lumps of white running around on the green, and I saw it as blobs of white really on green. It was just lovely. And the fact is, they didn't move very much. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say that. They don't move as much as other sports.
Depends which team you're talking about. England tend to run around a little bit. No, we love it, and your sporting scene are amazing, and I think people really connect with them, because we all, you know, here in Britain, we love the social season. We love our British sports, and you capture it absolutely perfectly. So it kind of brings, you know, we can buy a piece of art from places and scenes that we love. So Sherree Valentine-Daines, on behalf of Clarendon Fine Art and everyone that has joined yesterday and today, thank you, a huge thank you from us. Thank you. We will keep you posted. Obviously, we'll let everyone know about the Dame Vera Lynn print. Very, very important. I will also. Okay, I'm getting a lot of emails coming through about the inquiries about the paintings that you've just been showing, that I know have been with you quite a few months. Are you happy for me to take their inquiries so that I can contact you?
Yeah.
Thank you. That would be amazing. Yeah.
I mean, some of them are sentimental and I can't sell, but some of them, but some of them are, some of them are like part of me, but a lot of them, like, you know, these big frame ones, yes.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I'll get all the inquiries and we will come back to you on that one. But Sherree, thank you so much. Honestly, it's been a total honour and a huge privilege.
Always happy to do it. Always happy if you want a quick demo. See how it works.
I'm going to hold you to that. We'll be back. We'll be back. Sherree Valentine-Daines, thank you so much, and have a really wonderful weekend at home with all the family. And you have a new granddaughter, right?
Yes.
That's so
3 days old. Yeah.
So when are you meeting her?
Don't worry, I've met her.
I love
Just waiting for the name. It'll be something different.
It will.
Yeah, my daughter's called lettuce and her dog's called celery, so we're waiting for a vegetable to come out.
Odds are high on a vegetable name. I love it. Let us know. Keep us posted.
Let us know.
Let us know.
Okay.
We're too good. Let us know. Have a really fantastic weekend. Thank you to everybody. I know we've got a few people from all over the world tuning in. So thank you so much for joining Sherree in her home. Thank you very much, Clarendon Fine Art viewers. This will be posted live as well, so you can watch it pretty much on every platform. So you'll be able to watch it back again. And Sherree, thank you, and we'll see you back in the gallery.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye. I'm going to switch off. See you.